I'll give you two options and I need you to answer it. You could have two businesses, business A or business B. Business A, you make $100,000 a month revenue, but your expenses are $99,000 per month. Or you make $1,000 per month and you have $0 per month in expenses. You choose business A or do you choose business B? So now, if you listen to those business choices, both of the businesses are actually only making $1,000 per month profit. One is doing it with $100,000 a month with $99,000 in expenses, and the other one is doing it with $1,000 a month in income and $0 a month in expenses. I would choose the business that makes $1,000 a month revenue. That's the philosophy of profit first. The idea is you must be making profit every single month, and if you're not, you have to cut down until you are. That's the philosophy. And Profit First will advocate also for a simpler and leaner and cleaner lifestyle for our business. Because like, think about it, right? If you make a mistake in the business where you're only making $1,000 a month income and you have $0 expenses, even if you make crazy mistakes, all that happens is you lose a couple of clients and you go down to making $0 income. The bleeding is very slow that's happening. But imagine you make a mistake in a business where you're making $100,000 per month with $99,000 in expenses. If you lose a couple of clients, your revenue drops to $50K and all of a sudden you're losing $50,000 a month. You're going in debt $50,000 a month. That fast, it's destroying you. So the difference between the two businesses is you're still going to the direction you want to go. In one of them, you're going at like 300 miles an hour, and the other one, you're going the speed limit 60 miles an hour. And what's going to happen when you go at that breakneck pace? You're either going to break the law and get into a lot of legal trouble, or you're going to get yourself killed through stress, anxiety, panic attacks, suffering, all of those things. So that's a big problem, right? We want to avoid that. So in 2020, I made $1.7 million, of which I kept $200,000 in net income. In 2021, I made $1.7 million, out of which I kept $100,000 net income. In 2022, I made $1.1 million, but also kept $200,000. So interestingly, the year where I made $2 million, I kept the same amount of money as the year I made $1 million. There was a massive difference. And what I found out was the year I made $1 million was way easier, way more comfortable, way more enjoyable, did not involve breakneck pace, and did not lead us to legal catastrophes, some I can't disclose, that the previous years actually led to, because we had to scale so fast and do so many things so fast. So I had learned a lot of really difficult lessons. And then in 2022, I slowed down my business a lot, but kept the same money. And what's interesting is my profit potentially this year would look like $300,000 to $500,000. It's the most amount of profit I've made in previous years combined. So if we want to look at numbers, we should only look at one number, which is the number of profit. And this was a hard lesson that I learned in many different ways, of course, through my years of experiences and getting these fucking scarrings and making all this money and then having nothing left over at the end and all. And Bedros Keuilian, who's my mentor, he says, revenue feeds the ego, profit feeds the family. And so I always found great pride in my ego where I would be like, well, I'm making $100,000 a month, or I'm making $200,000 or $300,000 a month. When in reality, when I looked at everything, I wasn't even making $200,000 a year, right? I could have just been doing a job where I got paid 100 or 200K as a software developer and kept all that money to myself with no expenses and have made more money than my $2 million business with none of the stress. Now, running the business, I was collecting skills, but I was under this impression that in order to collect skills, I also have to be broke at the same time. I feel like that was an underlying belief, and I think that's very fucking dangerous to have. And if you are going through that, please, I want to stop you so you don't lose all your money, whether you're making tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. I don't want you to go through that pain because it's miserable, because there is going to be a point where you're going to feel stress that's in your heart all the time. And that's what led me to a panic attack, where I was actually on one of the product launch webinars I was doing with a friend of mine, and I started crying on the call. Nobody could see it because I was hiding it, but I just had tears starting to come down my face and I couldn't stop it. And my heart was burning and my chest was burning so much. And once I got off that call, I started sobbing because I couldn't hold it anymore. That was the first time in my life where I felt literal pain, physical pain in my chest based off of emotions. Before, I've never felt pain, right? My mom got a stroke, for example. I cried my heart out. I didn't feel pain in my chest. I couldn't breathe because I was crying so hard because I wanted to go and be with my mom and I didn't want to lose her and she means so much to me, but I never felt pain. But this stress and anxiety that I got from the financial pressure and stress, I had physical pain. And again, also Bedros Koulian, my mentor, told me that was a panic attack that I experienced. And so after losing millions of dollars and after having panic attack and experiencing depression and heavy levels of anxiety and stress, and again, I'm not a person who experiences stress or anxiety. I've never been that person. That's when I decided to pick up the book Profit First and learn and actually listen to how this works. And so those are some of the principles I want to share with you. And I know I gave you a lot of context, but I think that's important because I think principles without context don't matter because they're not going to stick. So then what's the point of me giving you any principles anyways? It's a waste of everybody's time. So if we agree on all of those things and we're still on the same page, then I want to tell you the Profit First is a good system for you. Otherwise, if you don't believe in any of those things, then it's probably not a good system for you. And that's okay. Maybe you want to go the route of getting venture funding, right? And growing something aggressive and you're trying to build $1 billion company. That's not me. And if you're watching, maybe that's not you. My goal and my vision is to build a bootstrap business that's profitable, that can keep growing, and hopefully I can get to $100 million a year. I'm not against that at all. I do like working hard, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. I am open to that and I do that and I love that. So it's not that my ambitions are low. I want to grow a bootstrap business that's as less stress as possible, that is extremely profitable and has an upside. I don't want venture capital. Don't want debt. I don't want to be going at a breakneck pace where I kill myself in the process. And there are still great companies that are built. If you look at Basecamp, which I think is valued at $100 million or $1 billion now, read their books. One of them is Rework. It's amazing. They have this philosophy of work less and still make a lot of money. So if all of that philosophy is there, then Profit First is a good business. And how I've implemented it in my own business is I have multiple different bank accounts and every single month I get income. So let's just say I got paid 10 grand, 20% immediately goes into my profit account. Now we have 8K left. Maybe I'll put 10% into tax account. I need to also run my business for the next month. Profit First says that your operating expenses for the next month should be about 50% or 40%, like no more than that. If you're a business under like $1 million a year. Okay, great. So I'll take 5,000 of the remaining 7 and put it into my OPEX account, operating expenses. OPEX includes things like software, a physical location that you're paying for. Those are the main things to just keep the lights on, essentially. That's what that is, right? OPEX. So now you have $2,000 remaining and you put all of those in team payroll, and all your money that went into income is now down to $0, and all your other accounts have their monies in them. And the main account that you keep your eye on is the profit account. That's the account that needs to be growing every single month. If that account is not growing every single month, you stop, you cut, or you grow more income. You have to be aggressive. You have to fire the people immediately and get to that profitability immediately. There isn't like this one amazing day where you make profit, because that's a belief that I had. I'm like, I'm just going to keep reinvesting in my business because Gary Vee said so, and I'll just keep waiting for years and years and years, and one day there shall be profit. It doesn't work like that. I thought I was waiting for that one day, and I spent millions of dollars back into my business to regrow it and reinvest it, and I never got that day. And what I was left with was just no money left at the end. And so what I learned is like, profit needs to be a routine, not an event. Profit needs to be you brushing your teeth every single day. Does that make sense? It's something you do every single day or every single month. And when you don't, you drastically change things until you do. And oftentimes that means making really hard decisions. The person who was doing my administrative work, we had to fire and let go of her. The people that were doing a lot of tasks, we had to fire and let go of them. Editor, can't have them on the team. Anybody that didn't fit into that being profitable, you have to cut, because yes, it's hard. Yes, it sucks. It was the worst experiences, worst conversations, because I had developed a relationship like family members with everybody. But ultimately, if the business dies, they don't have jobs anyways. And they're all capable and competent competent people who are completely capable of getting a job elsewhere. So don't think you're God, because I think that was a mistake I made. I wasn't coming from a cocky place. I was just like, if I fired them, what are they gonna do? What's gonna happen? And just thinking, like, crying by myself, thinking about that, because I'm like, I'll ruin their lives. You're not God. I'm not God. I can't ruin their fucking lives. They're competent people. They're skilled. That's why they're working with you, and they will go on and get jobs somewhere else. They'll be completely fine without you. And also, you'll be completely fine without them, okay? Things will work themselves out. But that's the really hard thing. So I've had to had massive layoffs, and I've got my team up to 20, 30 full-time people. So it's not like my team was tiny, you know, with one person on there. My team has gotten pretty big with either full-time employees or contractors on my team. And I've had to go and cut that down significantly multiple times until we get profitable. Right now, I've had the leanest team, which is about 3 people on the team, including me. So it's incredibly lean. It's never been leaner. Everybody is a contractor, and we make a certain amount of money, and I'm keeping more profit than I've had before. It's consistent. The stress levels are almost none, or very, very little compared to what they were before. This is the first time in my life where I feel like I can think in terms of months or years, whereas before I had to think in days. Because I remember specifically when I knew my expenses were going to be $250,000 and the month would start, I would be like, guys, we have to make like $5,000 to $8,000 a day, because $8,000 a day is our burn rate. And then the team would go crazy and we would get hyped up. And I had a mansion, and so the whole team would come to the mansion and we'd get hyped up. We're like, yeah, let's fucking go, let's do it. Get on calls, close people, do whatever we need to do marketing, make YouTube videos, make amazing courses, and bring more value, and then keep enrolling more people and closing more people. And right when the month would end, we would just break even, and then the new month would start, and there would be a giant mountain again that we would have to overcome. And it would be like, now we have to make $260,000 because the expenses just went up, and that is just to break even. And that's the cycle we were in. So no, I don't want that. Right now, if I do no more work, I break even, and if I decide to do more work and take on more clients, I instantly become profitable. So that's the life where I'm at now. Took a lot of time, but profit first was a huge reason why that was actually able to happen within my business. And so I hope if you're watching this, you apply it. Now you're like, how do I apply it? How do I do this? I really don't want to sound like an ad or anything like that, because I don't want to feel like a sponsored video, because it's not. But like, seriously, use the fucking bank Mercury. Like, it's like the most modern, the most cutting edge bank. And I did my research. I know of all the fucking bank accounts you'll tell me. I've used Chase, Bank of America, I've looked at Wells Fargo, all these dinosaur banks. You need to stop fucking using them, okay? Stop that. Like, that's just stupid. And they're so dinosaur that you shouldn't use them. They have hidden fees and all this crap. Get rid of them. They have terrible metrics and visualization, so you can't see who you gave your money to. None of that. You want to be able to type in a contractor's name and instantly see how much money you've paid them since day one, and you want to see it as a graph instantly. So you can go, this person, I've paid them $52,000. How quickly can you tell me that? You can't, because if you go to your Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatever other brokey bank you're using, which I have used in the past, so I'm not talking down on you, you can't tell me shit. You'll just see 133X routing 477. You'll see some long number that won't make any sense, and it's in a fucking PDF that you can't do anything with. So please stop using these. If you want to lead a business and not drive yourself crazy and pull your hair out, move away from all that trash can that you have. Modern banks are like Brex. Brex, I think, is okay. I looked into it and I did sign up with them, and I did try it because I try everything and I'm like a huge nerd with all this stuff. Brex is really good for expense management, but like, it just tries to shove credit cards down your throat. So it's all about points and credit cards. You don't want that. Get away from that. Just go Mercury. Set that up. It's clean as fuck. Their fucking mobile app is amazing. It's super easy to set up. And the most beautiful thing is, like, you can set up all your accounts in there. So I have all my accounts set up in profit first system. You know, you can see in my Mercury account how I have it set up. I have an income account. That's where all new income goes in. I have a profit account where 20% of all income goes into that every single month. I have a tax account where 15% income goes into that every single month. I have a runway account which has 3 months of runway at any given time. You should never ever drop below a minimum of 3 months of cash runway in your business. You can see I have a OPEX account, which 40 to 50% of the money goes into the OPEX account. You can see I have a team payroll account. So if I ever want to pay any single person, the money comes out of team payroll. Why? Because I can easily see that and I can easily control that, right? If I ever am like, holy fuck, like, you know, I want to cut somebody out, I can instantly stop their payments. You probably wouldn't do that to people, but for SaaS and OPEX, I can easily just not even put new money in there. And then how are SaaS companies going to take any more money out, right? So I have all these different layers of accounts where I can see exactly how much money came out for team. I can see exactly how much money came out from OPEX, which is like just living. So expenses if you own a physical building or SaaS or anything like that. I can easily see the flow of money coming into my income account and then see how my profit is happening. Read the book Profit First. You'll get a lot more details on how that works. But like that's the system I use that works incredibly well for me. Then I have another layer of protection. So I can make sure that I control my expenses and they don't control me. Mercury allows you to make as many debit cards as you want. So I have a debit card for every single piece of software that I subscribe to. So for example, let's just say I want to get Photoshop. Well, I make a new card for Photoshop. I set the limit. Let's say Photoshop is $20 a month. I set the limit to $20 a month and then I subscribe with that. So all the software I use, each different card is used for each software. Wow, that's so annoying. Yes. It is for a reason. You should make it annoying as fuck for yourself to have to pay somebody else money, because when you don't, that's how you bleed out your money, because you make it so easy for somebody to just take money out of your pocket. You want to make that hard. Otherwise, you'll go broke, or why you might actually be broke right now. Okay. Because think about it. Look at all the biggest companies. If you look at a corporate company, they make it so hard to take money out. They have a person that like does budgeting. Then they have a person that does approval of like, yes, they say yes or no to that thing. They have like chain of command. They make it extremely difficult for money to leave the company, but they make it extremely easy for you to give them payments, right? That's what you want to do. You want to make it extremely easy to accept payments. You want to make it extremely difficult for yourself to give out payments. So make a card for every single thing. That's what I do, at least. That's my system. Do it or not do it, up to you. And another reason why I love it is when you have a lot of this nasty software, like for example, Adobe or like random other pieces of software, the problem that a lot of them have is if you want to cancel them, sometimes, yeah, they allow you to just easily cancel. A lot of other times they're a pain in the ass. They ask you to email them, then their customer support responds, and you have to like spend weeks talking to customer support justifying why you should be able to cancel. And it's not a thing that I want to deal with. If I want to just shut a company out and not let them take a payment, I don't go to the companies. I just go into my account and just hit cancel, 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 or freeze. You can just freeze cards. So that way you don't cancel the card, but you can't take money out at all. And another reason why I like it is, let's say you're using something like Twilio or some kind of SaaS that auto charges you based on how fast it grows. Well, some of these software get really scary where like it'll go from $20 a month to eventually like automatically $120 a month and then $200 a month. And you're like, I didn't even realize that adding more people to Zoom was increasing my cost that much, or adding more people to Slack or adding more people was that much. And you're like, oh my God, I'm shocked that I've paid thousands of dollars. So if you set a limit of $20 a month or $30 a month, well, guess what? Even as the SaaS grows, it can't charge you more. So you will catch that mistake because your card will keep failing, and then you will automatically realize, oh, if I add more people, it'll actually become a lot more expensive. Do I want to do that? Most of the times you'll be like, you know what? It's not really worth it. Let's just keep it as is. And so it stops you from losing money when the SaaS starts growing and starts charging you crazy amounts and you don't realize it. So it stops you from that. It also makes it easy. So when you have to cancel, you can just hit freeze, and instantly just cancel a whole bunch of these subscriptions. Yeah, it makes your life really easy, because one mistake I made before was I put all these subscriptions on my credit cards, and then I had like 30 pieces of software, 50 pieces of software that I didn't even know I had because I couldn't find, and they just kept charging my account. And I'm like, this is so crazy. I can't get rid of all these subscriptions I have. It's literally costing me $20,000 to $30,000 per month. What the hell do I do to get rid of all of these subscriptions? And I remember I called a credit card company and I just told them, hey, I need you to send me replace a card. I lost my card. So I thought like by canceling that card and them sending me a new one would stop these creditors from like taking all the money. And what I realized was, even after I got my card, they were still charging the old card that I had trashed and stopped and everything, gotten rid of, replaced, because that's how these subscription services work. They can actually charge you based on your credit card account, not even that specific credit card. So even if you replace a card and you get a new card, they can still keep charging you. Like, how crazy is that? So once I learned all of that, I'm like, fuck that. I'm never using credit cards again. So I'd never use credit cards. I only use debit cards, and I have limits on every single one of them. So like, I just don't lose money on SaaS anymore. So I've saved probably hundreds of thousands a year there. So that's how you use Profit First in your own business. I know this was long, but I think it's worth it, because if even one viewer watched this all the way through and you actually implement it, it will change your life and it will make the difference of millions of dollars, crazy peace of mind, an amazing business, a stable income, and a reliable lifestyle that will allow you to build something huge later. I love you. Take care. Apply this today.